Hello everybody and welcome to the Kansas Speedway for the 2005 Banquet Foods 400 here in NR2003. Of course, the round of 12 opener in our 2005 chase for the cup here, as Tony Stewart starts on pole position alongside Mark Martin. Of course, we ran here at Kansas earlier in the year where Carl Edwards, who is starting 5th today, got his first career win. Who will get it done today? We're going to find out from what should be a very good race here in Kansas to kick off the round of 12 in the chase, as we are green and underway here in the Heartland. Who is going to bring home the victory in Kansas? We'll find out, as Tony Stewart with a great jump to start this race on the inside of Mark Martin going into turn 1. Looks to maintain, looks to take the race lead away from the 6 as we go into 1 here. So we'll be back to get a quick screenshot. And then Matt Kenseth now on the inside lane passes Tony Stewart for the race lead. The 17 back to the point here in Kansas. It is Matt Kenseth out front leading the field here in Kansas. Tony Stewart running 2nd, Mark Martin 3rd, Carl Edwards 4th, as Kenseth, of course, just got eliminated from the chase after Dover. Last episode there just had a horrible first round, and is trying to at least have a positive note to end his season, getting a win here in these final 7 races. But now here comes the 20 of Tony Stewart, the big run out of turn 2. Here comes Stewart. He's trying to take the lead away from Matt Kenseth as he tries to find his way to what would be his 5th win of the season and an automatic bid into the round of 8, as Stewart, of course, the #1 seed coming in, your regular season champion, the heavy favorite to go all the way. But Matt Kenseth retains the lead 3 laps in, and Kansas with a caution has come out here on lap 12 as we get back underway, as Scott Wimmer has crashed out of this race in 40 seconds. So that's the end of the day for Wimmer. He is out. We're back underway. Stewart and Kenseth remain in the front row. As we go into turn 1 and 2 here in the restart, ROUSH Brigade here right behind. So we got Kenseth, and you got 3 wide between Biffle, Edwards, and Mark Martin, as Stewart takes the race lead out of turn 2. They're almost 4 wide out of turn 2. Contact! In trouble. Around goes the ROUSH Racing. Everybody's wrecking. Martin, Edwards, Kenseth, Biffle in the field. Souther got in it. Mayfield's collected. A huge hit by Dale Jarrett. I saw Jeff Gordon spinning around up there. More cars involved. I think Kurt Busch maybe got a piece of it. Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, as the ROUSH cars were 4 wide. Just wasn't going to work here in Kansas. They all get into each other, go crashing down the backstretch. Huge impact for Elliott Sadler. Big damage to Mayfield. Then you see right here Jeff Gordon, Harvick, Newman right in the middle of the mess. Get collected, turned around, go spinning. But looks like very minor damage for the 24 and 29. Dale Jr. also involved in the 8s. Another one of your playoff drivers. A big impact for him up against the wall with Boris Said. So a huge wreck with massive playoff implications. Strikes within the first 12 laps here in Kansas, involving all 5 ROUSH Racing cars involved in this crash. Absolute disaster for them once again, just like last episode in Dover. And look at just the cars. You go to DeWalt on board, Matt Kenseth. See right there, Kenseth had nowhere to go, just got drilled by Dale Jarrett. Now with Mark Martin's onboard camera, you see the 6 getting collected there. Only had a minor hit until he drills the 17, and that's what's going to do the 6 of Mark Martin. And now the National Guard onboard, Greg Biffle, just gets clipped, bounces off the wall, but able to continue just fine. Biffle's A-okay. Of course, the Office Depot onboard with Carl Edwards. He looked good for a while until he got slammed into by Travis Quaffle and the rest of the pack here. And then he spins himself around off of the grass once again. So a rough day for your earlier season Kansas. Right now the Bud on board with Dale Jr. Tried to find a hole in the top, and Boris Said right out of nowhere. Jr. launched onto his side. A vicious impact for the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. there, who almost made it through that unscathed. Now with Altel on board with Ryan Newman. See his view of this incident. See there, Newman just tried to shoot the gap between Edwards and Mike Bliss, and just wasn't enough space for him to get by. He gets there. Now the Dodge dealer's on board with Jeremy Mayfield. Oh man, Mayfield nearly got through it right there, but Sadler just came up right in front of him, and then he hits his teammate Kane. Now the DuPont on board, watching how Jeff Gordon finds his way through. See, Gordon gets collected there, spun off of Mike Bliss, some minor contact from the 29 of Harvick, but besides that, Jeff Gordon's A-okay, should be able to continue. Now on board with Kevin Harvick in the Good Wrench onboard camera. Once again, similar to Gordon, very minor contact for the 29. He should also be okay to continue on. Now the M&M's on board with Elliott Sadler. Almost made it through right there until Mark Martin hit Matt Kenseth right in front of Sadler, who had nowhere to go. Slams in the 17, destroys Elliott Sadler's race car. Look at the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, narrowly squeezed by to keep his hopes alive. Now we go on board with Kurt Busch, the 5th Roush car who was involved in this incident. He just gets a little bit of contact with Jeremy Mayfield and actually gets a pretty significant hit there from Casey Kane. But the 97 should be okay. Here's one final look at the big one here on lap 15 involving all 5 Roush Racing Fords and collecting at least half the playoff field. So there was a huge wreck off in turn 3. Involves all 5 of all the Roush cars, who are all really, really fast. Destroys a ton of playoff cars like Junior, Gordon, Sadler, Newman, Harvick, all involved. But at the front, Tony Stewart escaped with the race lead. And now we're going to get back underway on the ensuing restart on lap 18. Stewart leads Nemechek, so Stewart will easily take the point here on lap number 18. You see the list of guys out of the race. Dale Jarrett, Mike Bliss, Elliott Sadler officially out, as well as Scott Riggs, Matt Kenseth. You got Carl Edwards is also out. Kenseth, we know he is out from being involved in that pileup. Travis Quaffle as well. So it's a big pileup. Going to take out a lot of good cars. Boris Said also out. So yeah, a lot of good Roush cars. Only 2 playoff drivers out though. Those being, of course, Dale Jr. and Elliott Sadler, 36th and 39th respectively, as Tony Stewart leads in stage 1. Speaking of stage 1, we are now on the last lap of stage 1. Tony Stewart comfortably in the race lead, has been absolutely dominating ever since the Roush cars imploded, and is now well on his way to his 6th stage win of the season, continuing to cement his spot as the #1 seed in these playoffs. But Kurt Busch looks like he's coming down pit road in the last lap of the stage. Kurt Busch, what are you doing? He's going to cost himself a stage point. That could be the difference between advancing and being eliminated in the playoffs, as Tony Stewart will win stage 1 here in Kansas, his 6th stage victory of the season. Jimmy Johnson will come home in 2nd place, earning a solid 9 points. Ricky Rudd 3rd. 4th place will go to the 11 of Denny Hamlin, having an impressive run in just his 3rd or 4th career start. Then you got Casey Mears running out the top 5. Rusty Wallace 6th. Brian Vickers is 7th. 8th place is going to be the 24 Jeff Gordon, getting good points. 9th will be Ken Schrader, and Jamie McMurray will earn the last stage point as Tony Stewart gets it done, dominates stage 1 in Kansas. Now on to stage 2. A caution has come out as if we just caught the end of it. Bobby Hamilton Jr. with severe left side damage. It looks like Bobby Hamilton maybe got in a wreck with Casey Mears, and that's why we're under caution. So that happens. Stewart still out front. Now on the restart, Stewart's still leading, but back here we got some cars getting close together in a glitch, and Mike Wallace phases into Jimmy Johnson. There goes Dave Blaney spinning down the front stretch. Big hit from Ryan Newman. Stuart Kirby piles in as Mike Wallace and Jimmy Johnson's cars glitch together, causing Mike Wallace to hit the wall, send Dave Blaney spinning, who got drilled by Newman, who couldn't afford that being a championship contender. Stuart Kirby piles in. He's destroyed. It's like that'll be the end of the day for Ryan Newman, and Jimmy Johnson severely damaged on the right side of his car from that glitch. That could cost Jimmy Johnson being in contention the rest of this race. See the list of cars outgrowing now, of course, adding Stuart Kirby, Dave Blaney, and Ryan Newman to that list. Ricky Rudd this time going to outdo Tony Stewart on the restart, so Rudd will lead the lap, and how Ricky Rudd leading his first laps of the day here in Kansas, but not for long. Here comes the 20. What a run through turn 2 by Tony Stewart. Goes full send, swings to the inside of Ricky Rudd down the back straightaway, and now Tony Stewart will drive his way back to the front of the field within a half a lap. Takes the lead back from Ricky Rudd, and Tony Stewart continuing to dominate here in Kansas. And domination it has been on the last lap of stage 2 here. Tony Stewart putting on an absolute clinic in the Heartland. Stewart gonna come out of turn 4, win stage 2, and sweep the stages today in Kansas. That's now his 7th stage win of the year. Rusty Wallace 2nd, Vickers, Mears, and Hamlin ran out of the top 5. Then Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd 6th and 7th, Schrader 8th, Jamie McMurray 9th, and Jimmy Johnson with that severe damage going to be the last car on the lead lap, limping around out there in 10th place. is making his way through turn 4 now to earn the 10th and final stage point for Jimmy. You know, every point matters, so Jimmy being able to hang on to that 10th spot, very important. But in the end, Tony Stewart wins stage 2, sweeping the stages in pure domination here in Kansas. Now, the restart for stage 3, the final stage race, Jimmy Johnson, for some reason, stays out, so he'll be your leader alongside Tony Stewart, and the 48 just does not go, does not launch at all. See that damage on the right side of the car severely affecting Jimmy Johnson, already getting passed by nearly 10 cars as we enter turn 1. And he has held up both of his championship contending teammates of Brian Vickers and Jeff Gordon, who are trying to earn points just like he is, so they won't be happy about that, as Johnson continues to drop like a rock through the field right now on this opening lap of stage 3. Meanwhile, back to front, Tony Stewart driving away, been the story of the day, and he's doing that once again here. Stewart leading the way with 97 to go. And now here we are, lap 193, so about 70, a little over 70 to go in this race. There's smoke up ahead to 44, Terry Labonte blowing up. The engine has expired. Terry Labonte blows a motor down the back straightaway. That will bring out the caution flag, and just one lap too late as Jimmy Johnson will fall a lap down in 10th. Mayfield goes down another lap. Stewart still dominating here in Kansas. And here we are, 38 laps to go. The final green flag pit stop cycle is underway. Tony Stewart is in, your leader, who's absolutely dominated this race, in for his final pit stop from the lead. That will give it to Denny Hamlin in the 11, leading his first career laps alongside the 41 of Casey Mears, who just made the pass for the lead into turn 1 as he had a huge run down the front stretch. Now Casey Mears leads over Rusty Wallace second, Denny Hamlin third, Brian Vickers fourth after Tony Stewart comes in for the pit stop. Now Rusty Wallace goes to the inside of Mears. They're still going to be side by side out of turn 2 for the race lead, but here comes Denny Hamlin thinking about making it 3 wide for the lead. And he will. A 3-wide move to the inside. Denny Hamlin to second, and now the inside of Mears for the race lead. What a move by the rookie in just his 5th career start. Denny Hamlin leading with just 35 to go here in Kansas, looking for his first ever win. Now the following lap, Hamlin and Rusty Wallace now slowing down. They're coming in for their pit stops. Of course, Stewart came in about 4 laps ago. Now Hamlin and Rusty Wallace will come in together from the lead and 3rd place respectively. They are in. And so now that will leave Casey Mears and Brian Vickers out on the racetrack, with Mears as the leader, as they are expected to be coming into the pits within the next 2 laps here as well for their final pit stops of the day to make it to the end of this race. Of course, Stewart charging back, trying to maintain this lead and complete a dominating performance for a victory and an automatic spot in the round of 8. But here comes Casey Mears, looking for his first win since 2003. Comes into the pit lane from the lead alongside Brian Vickers, running in second in the 25, who's had a phenomenal year. And now that leaves Tony Stewart out there on the racetrack, who now a few laps later will cycle out to take the race lead. 30 to go. Tony Stewart leads and continues to dominate here in Kansas. And now 2 to go, coming to the white flag. Final lap presented by Credit One Bank here at Kansas Speedway for Tony Stewart, who has absolutely dominated this race, has led well over 225 laps today in this race, and is well on his way to his 5th victory of this 2005 campaign and an automatic spot in the round of 8 as he gets one step closer to going to Homestead to fight for his first ever NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Championship. Through turn 4 for the final time. A dominating performance going to be capped off with a victory as Tony Stewart wins in Kansas. He is advancing to the round of 8. His 5th win of the year, 26th of his career. Schrader comes home a lap down in 8th. McMurray 9th a lap down. Here comes Denny Hamlin, a career best 2nd place finish. Casey Mears 3rd, Vickers 4th, Gordon rounds out the top 5, Rusty Wallace 6th, Ricky Rudd 7th, and then of course 10th place will be Greg Biffle there, a lap down as well. So how about that? Tony Stewart absolutely dominates, leads almost the entire race en route to his 5th victory of the year, locking himself in the round of 8 as the number 1 seed. The championship favorite can add even more playoff points to his total. Stewart gets the job done here in Kansas. You see the final race results on the left side of your screen. Take a pause when you would like to look at them, and we'll have the updated playoff grid for you shortly. Now we get the updated playoff grid after, of course, this round of 12 opener at Kansas. The only thing we know for sure, Tony Stewart locked in to the next round with this dominating win. But Brian Vickers, Jimmy Johnson, Rusty Wallace are all looking very, very good on points. Vickers at plus 42, Jimmy Johnson at plus 34, Rusty Wallace plus 30. Even Kurt Busch is looking great at plus 24. Jeff Gordon says 20 points above the cut line now. But 7th on down is an absolute dogfight. Kyle Busch only 6 points above the cut line. And then Ryan Newman with his struggles sits on the bubble, just 3 points above Kevin Harvick. Jeremy Mayfield sits out by 5 points. Then Elliott Sadler out by 18 and Dale Jr. by 23. Those two guys really got some work to do at Charlotte and Talladega if they want to find themselves in the round of 8. And so now, of course, before we end the episode, I'm going to give a shout out to my channel members. So thank you very much to Brenda Breen and Jeremy Isley. I really appreciate your guys' support. It means a lot to me and helps me and this channel continue to grow and do great things on our road to 1,000 subscribers. For the rest of you that are not subscribed to watch my videos, I strongly recommend you do subscribe. It only takes 2 seconds, and I would really appreciate it. If you haven't become a channel member already, the link is in the description down below, and you can get access to exclusive perks. So until the next episode, I hope you all have a good one.